Do you consider yourself to be successful, Anthony?
Probably not. Prior to the franchise, our best year was right around 300,000. My first year with the franchise, I did 750,000 and I
Wow.
didn't pick up a paintbrush. I would be leading a team and helping develop a team, doing sales trainings and really helping people grow.
Mm,
I would have never believed that. Yeah, right. That's not me.
yeah,
Just,
right.
just a painter,
Yeah,
you
that's
know.
right. I have to do stuff I don't not really good at yet, and I don't really know what I'm doing yet. And there's discomfort in that. And one of the component parts about growing successful businesses is being really comfortable, being really uncomfortable.
Leaving a legacy behind, building something bigger than yourself, giving people opportunity might not have the opportunity elsewhere, or just
Yeah.
just being that platform for people. I think that's where success really is.
I have such a fantastic guest to round out our year with. If you can believe it, this is the very end of 2025. And I have a fabulous guest in line for you today. I cannot wait for you to hear his story. It is a pretty cool one and coming from some long term background. And I'm going to let him tell all about it. It's pretty awesome. And rounding out the year of so many incredible guests from corporate clients and vendors and suppliers to franchisees and independent business owners. Oh my, we have had a wide range of amazing people having their presence here with us on the show. And today is going to be yet another fantastic one. So, Anthony, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Why don't we get things started by having you share with everybody a little bit about who you are and the work you do in this world?
Sure. Again, my name is Anthony Kulikowski. I am from the South Bend, Indiana area, and we own Five Star Painting. It is a franchise painting company, and we own three locations, they're all contiguous within the territory. I've been painting for 27 years. So I
Wow.
started out as a painter actually in high school, and I learned from my wife's grandfather, who was a really neat guy to learn from. He had actually been painting before rollers were invented.
Oh my
So
gosh.
that's the
That's
guy that
super
trained me.
cool.
Really
Yeah.
cool.
You have a very long pedigree of paint in the blood. But it
Yeah.
wasn't always a love relationship that you had around this trade, this industry, this expertise that your family's been carrying on, right? Like it didn't start as like my only hope and dream is to be a painter, right? I think that you kind of
Oh,
went into it, and we certainly wasn't with the like, oh, I'm live fulfilling my dream. So why don't you share a little bit about like those dynamics in that story? Because I think it's a really interesting foundational component.
yeah. It actually goes back to my high school days. At the time was my girlfriend. We were um, high school parents. We had
Yep.
our first very, very young,
Hmm.
and I hated my job.
Mhm.
And my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife, she said, "Well, hey, you could go work for my grandfather." And I thought,
Mhm.
well, anything's better than this job. I'll go paint some stuff, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
And that's kind of how we got into it. And as time went on, I found myself getting good at it and
Yeah.
getting better. And eventually, I was kind of running his company.
Yep.
Not necessarily the office side of it, but
Sure.
the production, the work side of it. But yeah, that's kind of how we got the start in the painting field.
Yeah.
Uh, as I grew into that, I eventually, as most tradespeople do, at a certain point, I thought, I think I could do this on my own.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. And did you
so,
start off with a franchise right away, or did you start independently first?
no, I started independently first. I took what I knew and ran with that. And I did that. I think I started my company in 2003.
Okay.
And we went all the way to 2017 before we bought the franchise.
Yeah.
And the funny part about the franchise, it was really funny because they cold called me And normally I wouldn't have taken that call,
Sure.
and they were just asking the right questions. And it really
Mm,
got me to thinking because honestly, I did pretty well with what my previous business.
yeah.
Um, we certainly weren't breaking any records, but I made a good living.
Yeah.
That call from the franchise really was the start of reshaping things because I
Mm,
did want to grow, I just didn't know how.
mm,
And they were asking the right questions to get me curious enough to move forward in that interview process. And I'll fast forward kind of to through all of the vetting process of the
sure.
franchise. Um, so we ended up buying, and when we bought, I a little bit got cold feet
Mm.
before we opened, and I tried to get out of it, and it was pretty funny. The vice president at the time says, "Well, you signed a contract, so no, we're not letting you out, but we will help you, and we will get you through it, and you're gonna kill it." So
Mhm.
I thought, well, okay, So
Yep.
it was funny because I think that's a pretty like you're like, oh my gosh, what did I just sign up for?
Right, right. What'd I do?
Yeah, a big commitment, you
Yeah.
know. Prior, and I'll share some quick numbers, but prior to the franchise, our best year was right around 300,000.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
gross
Yeah.
sales. My first year with the franchise, I did 750,000, and I
Wow.
didn't pick up a paintbrush.
Wow.
And it was a whirlwind. It was busy. There was no such thing as work-life balance.
Sure, sure. Work balance.
Yeah. But it made me realize, holy moly, there's a better way to do this, and I
Right.
started really getting clarity on how to grow and how to scale and how to, move forward, how to start building a team. Um,
Yeah.
so
I
yeah,
love that. I love that. I think that you said something early on in your franchise journey. Two things I want to mention is that they cold called you and it's not a call you would have usually picked up. And I think that so often as business owners and as we're thinking about our marketing strategies and how are we intersecting and especially on the B2B side, right? When you're selling to other business owners, that moment of just right moment, right time, right like okay, you wouldn't usually have taken the call, you wouldn't have usually shown any interest. So sometimes just that serendipitous moment, in order to have those moments of serendipity, those moments of luck, you have to be tenacious. So there's a lot of cold calling that goes unanswered, but that one time, and sometimes when we're thinking about our marketing plans, we don't we don't take enough account for those right moments, right? We're talking to a constantly moving flow of people, and who we intersect with from one day to the next, 1 hour to the next changes dramatically. And they could just so happen to be in the right moment or just so happen to have, like, oh, I picked up the phone that one time. And it seems like a weird fluke. And we can't make the fluke happen, but we can put ourselves in the position to benefit by those moments of serendipity. And I think that so often we forget that. We think about like all the metrics, but there's a human on the other side of that metric. There's a person who needs to pick up the phone and start to have their mind triggered, right? A little bit like, interesting, maybe I should consider this. And I loved that. I love that you said like this isn't something I would usually have done. And so, but it they were asking the right questions, right? And that's kind of point number two. When you ask the right questions, you display a level of expertise because an expert knows the right questions to ask to make you start to think, right? So that's both a sales, business development, and also a really high level leadership skill is being able to ask powerful questions that help shape how someone is looking at a problem so that they can see something fresh. And that's really
yeah,
powerful. I love that.
absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. I will expound on that a little
Yeah,
bit because
do.
uh, I 100% agree. I teach my team the same thing, just because. So for us, we could have a form fill on, Facebook or something. Maybe somebody's says, you know what? Yeah, I do need a. They see an ad, right? And I do need
Yeah.
a paint job. Well, and this has literally happened. They sign up for a quote for us, and we come out. And in the meantime of us coming out and life happening, they get in a car wreck or
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen everything from that to like a tree fell on my house. Well,
Oh,
priorities just changed, right?
yeah, you don't need paint right now. It's not the most
Yeah,
urgent
so
one, right? Yeah.
yeah, but that doesn't mean they don't still want the paint job. That like that doesn't mean they're not a customer. They're just not a
Right.
customer right now.
Yes.
And for me personally, on like my journey, so funny me saying that I wouldn't have normally answered the phone.
Yeah.
That tenacity, the only reason I stayed on the phone is I was still on the tools at this time. I was still
Yep.
working, roller in hand, and I was having a bad day. And
Mm,
I had to go to the paint store to pick up some supplies, and I was heading to back to the job,
yep.
and this call came in, and I actually got back to the job and was sitting outside of the job in my truck, continuing to talk to this guy because my day was going bad and I just didn't want to go back in the house. I was
Mm,
literally using that as an excuse to not go back in the house.
procrastination.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then he started asking me really good questions, and I was like, man, that's a good point. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so, but to your point, like, I think everybody is potentially always a customer, and
Yeah.
I don't think it was luck that he got me. I think he was just tenacious enough to call enough
Yeah.
to just be on the phone enough. Like, so I love that you said that because I actually teach my team that as well.
Yeah.
That's okay if they're not ready right now. They might be ready later. Life
Yeah.
happens, things
Yeah.
change.
Right.
So yeah,
I think that sales is the only time where no doesn't actually mean no, right? No is
yeah,
conditional on it's not right now, not under these circumstances, not for this price, right? There it's conditional. And our
mhm,
conditions change to your point, like minute to minute. If you're in the middle of a big storm and a tree falls on your house, your conditions just changed wildly. So the roofing guy and the remodeling guy and the disaster mitigation guy sign up for that, right? Like they're ready. They're a yes now, right? But I think that we so often take for granted, we think people's conditions are static. And so they interacted with us and we got an answer. It wasn't the answer we wanted. It wasn't an immediate yes, but we forgot that their condition is not static. It's dynamic. It's changing in every moment. And so we have to continue to be there, be present, be present, be present, because in the moment when they are ready, we need to be there to say yes, right?
exactly.
To us,
Yeah,
right?
yep.
Yeah, I actually find that part of the business development and sales just kind of delightful because you never know when that moment is going to happen, but you can know your numbers enough to know like, okay, I have to make 7 calls in order to get 2 appointments, or I need to do out of 10 calls, I'm gonna get 3 solid yeses, and those solid yeses I convert, 1.5 of them, or whatever it is, right? Like you can know your numbers and you can as a ambitious individual, you can create the outcomes that you want to see when you master your metrics and you manage them. And it's just, I love that. How fun.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's all part of it, right? Like your team has to know what you
Absolutely.
expect of them. And then it's like anything, what gets measured gets tracked. So track that,
Yep.
know your numbers, know those
Yeah.
KPIs, track them, and hold your
Yeah.
team accountable at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
And also like have them see what it means for them. So often, we say this is what it is, but this is what it personally means to you. Like this is how it translates down. I was working with a sales manager of like a $45 million company. And one of the things that he said that he personally liked to do with his new incoming reps, even though they're going to be managed by someone else and all of that, one of his managers is going to manage them. He always liked to do, he called it the money dance with them to show them like, here's all the activities you can do. And when you do all the activities, this is what it boils down to in the numbers. So the money dance is you got to reach out and grab every opportunity. You got to do everything every time because it's
Yeah,
all of the symphony of things that are going to result to you personally having this big of a check. And it's just one of those things that he was always really passionate about. So it was his part of the training process was always to do that with them because it's so vivid, right? You have to know the best practices. You have to be able to inspire people to do the best practices, and then they themselves have to own it, right? And that's where that like full circleness comes through. And I think it's one of the beautiful dynamics of business ownership is that you can transmit that to your management team and they can transmit it to the sales team or to the any team, right? Like it works the same way no matter what the dynamics are. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. So you went from year one, 750K, right? Doubling your best year ever. And after your moment of trepidation and working the system and realizing like you don't have to, have the roller in your hand in order for you to be driving that sort of a business forward. And then what happened? What's the rest of the story?
Yeah, so we continued to grow. I'll kind of give you high level.
Sure. Yeah.
We continued to grow. We continued to add more painting crews, add more project managers and salespeople, and currently we're at right around 3 million in revenue.
Awesome.
We did actually open up a gutter business as well.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a fun endeavor. So we're just getting off the ground with that. So it's too new to report
Right. 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 To
a
report
lot
any
of numbers
numbers
there.
back. Yep.
Kind of just getting our feet wet with that. We've
Yeah.
been doing it through the painting business a little bit, but then it came to the point where we said, you know what, this should be its own thing,
Yeah.
and let's go service, gutters. So
Well, congrats. That's a beautiful thing. 10xing right where you started off. That's pretty awesome. And I also think that there's so many unexpected joys in the journey. There's unexpected hurdles too, and we can talk about those in a second. But what was one of those unexpected, could never have imagined, other than, the top line success and the high level success? What is one of the unexpected delights of this journey along the way for you so far?
I think it's just developing my people and helping them
Mhm.
develop. If you'd have told me 10, 15 years ago while I was rolling walls and scraping the sides of buildings down that I would be leading a team and helping develop a team and doing sales trainings and just really helping people grow.
Mm,
I would have never believed it. Yeah, right. That's not me.
yeah,
It,
right.
just a painter,
Yeah, that's right. Right. Yeah.
Um, but oddly, like that, and maybe not oddly, I don't know, but that is one of my biggest joys. I love
Mm,
bringing people in that, you know, are kind of new, just looking for something and just finding that right person and helping them just grow and develop. And I've seen it time and time again. We've brought in people that didn't really know anything about paint and
yeah.
we've taught them our systems, we've taught them paint, we've taught them how to go out and sell or go out and manage or do the painting. And it's just really neat watching them grow. Matter of fact, I is a very bittersweet. I lost one of my longest tenured guys this year.
Mm,
It's a bummer for me, but I'm so happy for him. He
mm.
actually got recruited by this like large tech outfit,
Wow.
and I could compete with what they were offering.
Sure.
So, like I said, I do believe a lot of his development. I mean, he did the work, right? I
Sure.
just provided the
Sure.
platform,
Yeah.
and it's just awesome to see that because, like, I still talk to him, and he's doing great,
Yeah.
and like, that's awesome. I'm proud of you. It's
Yeah.
neat you get to be a small part of these people's journey.
Sure, sure.
So,
One of my early mentors called that lifting as we climb, right? That we bring
yeah.
people up together with us while we continue to climb forward. And I mean, you say it's funny that that's kind of a delight for you, but so many of my guests, that's what they enjoy because you get to give something that you were given, right? With that guy who tenaciously called you, and then even that the conversation you had when you're like, I'm having cold feet, I might want to pull out. And they're like, sorry, sorry, Anthony, you can't. But we are going to help you and we're going to train you and we're going to help you become that person. And I know you have what it takes. That's what you said. He said, and we believe in you. And that's what you're doing for others now. You're spotting their talent, you're spotting their capacity, and you're saying, I believe in you. And here are the tools to succeed. Now, it's up to them to pick up the tools and do something positive with them. But you're in a position to know the tools to offer and to identify the individuals who have what it takes to utilize them to full capacity. And I mean, that's a really, gosh, it's so fulfilling. It's so fulfilling because where else could you do that? It's
Yeah,
pretty.
I don't know, but you're right. It is. It's very fulfilling. You just like, man, like you feel good about it.
You feel good about it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm sure there've been plenty of, it hasn't just all been roses, no thorns, I'm sure. I'm sure we could fill a whole episode with the low points, but what was one of those really difficult challenges that, especially as you transitioned from a independently owned business to a franchised business, what was one of the, any stage, just an unexpected hurdle that you've had to overcome that you could never have guessed?
My first year was really good.
Yeah.
Uh, I, I honestly, I just ran like crazy, and
Yeah.
I didn't realize I probably should have hired some help earlier than I did.
Mm,
And every step of the way, going from a painter who was on the tools that did, like, I wore every hat, right?
yeah.
So every step of the way, I've had to give something up. I had
Mm,
to trust another painter to do as good of a job as me.
yeah.
And I mean, every tradesman ever is like, I'm the best, right? Nobody wants to say like, well, he's pretty good too.
Right, right. Yeah, that's right.
But I have learned that,
Mhm.
and you know what? No, my guys are actually really good at this.
Yeah,
And I've done that, every step of the way. I think my biggest hurdle has been when we grew to where I had a manager under me who was now managing all of the frontline people.
right.
And that one was a little tougher than the
Mhm.
others because the others still reported directly to me, and
Sure.
I had done the things that they were doing, so I probably got it. And yeah, that one was tough. But again, the guy that I had in that position was doing amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Took him a little bit to get situated and settled in,
Yep.
but he was killing it. And
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yep.
looking to
So,
replace that now. But
yeah, well, is that the guy who you just lost?
yeah,
Oh, that first manager managing. Well, that's a different journey, right? More,
yeah,
more to
yeah.
more to become. But there's something that we always tell clients who are journeying with us at ProQ is that the person who's going to change the most as your business dynamically grows is you, the owner, you, because you're going to have to. You said I had to give things up every time, and having to pass along something that you've held really dear. You talked about, tradespeople thinking they're always the best one, right? Like those sort of letting go, like you can't receive with a closed fist, right? If you're holding on to something really tightly, your hand isn't open for something new. And that there's a grieving process in growth that most people don't consider. But there's grief in having to let those things go and having to say goodbye to the things you used to be good at and continuously be on the horizon of your own growth edge, which means like I have to do stuff I don't not really good at yet and I don't really know what I'm doing yet. And there's discomfort in that. And one of the component parts about growing successful businesses is being really comfortable being really uncomfortable, right? Because you're always doing new things, right? That you haven't done yet. And because you're giving space for others to do the things you used to be good at. And I think that's a really under-discussed component part of success, that there's grief in that process because all of that constant letting go of things that you loved, right? And it's if it was all stuff you hate, okay. Like, am
Yeah,
I
then it's
sad
easy
to
to let go.
am I sad to let go of the filing? Never. Okay, never. Like if I never had to touch a file folder again in my entire life, I would be happy. And now that things are digital, we not so muchy. But it's just there's a when it's the things that you don't like doing, it's not so hard. But when it's the things that you love doing, but it's a necessary growth moment, that's hard. That's hard.
That's very true. Very true.
Yep. Yep. And it's not just for you, it's also for those people that grow in your organization too, right? If they're shifting their role, there's also that dynamic of change for them too, where they have to let go of something they used to be good at to embrace something that they're not yet good at. And it's like the journey from going from like middle school when you're the highest, the oldest, the biggest,
Right?
baddest, then you go to high school and you're like, wait a minute. I
I'm
am
back
not
at the bottom again.
That's right, I'm at the bottom of the food chain, what the heck? It's the same thing that happens, right? That's all that just happens in real life, in real time. So, very cool, very cool. Well, I love this. I have really appreciated your perspective on, what you train your team to do and the dynamic of asking the right questions and of giving yourself the opportunity to be in the right time, and then also this transmission of excellence, this duplication into other people that you've really, embraced. It's really, really fun. So, I have one final question for you, which is always our flagship question. I've got to ask. It's that with everything that you've been through, kind of the highs and lows and ups and downs, do you consider yourself to be successful, Anthony?
Probably not.
Yeah, tell
Um,
me more.
I mean, yes, in my field and certainly in my area,
Yeah,
um, I would be, I think, considered successful amongst my peers.
sure.
But I just always know there's so much more. I feel like we're always
Mhm.
just scratching the surface.
Mm,
um, I never feel like I'm like, man, we could do a little bit more, a little bit more.
mm, yeah. Yeah, so always having that something left to chase.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's certainly a lot of room for growth out there, whether that's
Mm.
growth in our own market, whether that's expanding to new markets. There's a lot out there.
Yeah.
So
What else is kind of included if you're thinking about whether you, I'm going to say, have earned the title of being successful or not? Other than that, wanting that continuous growth edge, what else is included in that definition that you look at?
for me personally, I think it's how satisfied are your customers, uh,
Mm,
which we do a really good job. I mean, we have I don't know, we're somewhere around 1,000 reviews, maybe a little more than that, and I think we're averaging a 4.9.
wow, nice. Yeah.
Um, so satisfied customers certainly is a big part of that, but I think the other part, and equally as important, is your team and getting your team geared up and is your team satisfied? Are they happy? Are they making enough? Are they hungry enough? Are they wanting to
Mm.
go? I think that's the other piece of that. I think there's room for improvement on both sides of that. Not to make myself sound like a Russian judge, but there's always room for improvement, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Um, I love to create kind of a little success algorithm for all of my clients as they talk about whether they want to claim that crown of success right now or not quite yet, or what does that all entail? Because I always feel like when each one of us has different dynamics and different metrics that we use to determine whether we perceive ourselves to be successful or not. And, everyone on my podcast is externally successful, and not everyone, like you, says, "Hey, I'm not gonna claim the crown yet," right? Different people are at different places in it, and I always think it's kinda cool to think about what are the component parts that contribute to your definition of success. So I backwards engineered a little bit of, algorithm of success for the Anthony success algorithm, and so let's see how I did, and then if there's other pieces that you feel like, "Oh, I think also this and also that," because here on the podcast, I want us to look at success more broadly, because so often people have a very myopic, like, did you make the money, yes or no? And it's like, that is not it, right? That's such a, money is the cheapest measure of success, because you can have
Yeah,
money and not be successful, right? Like, you can be rich and not successful. And that seems like a funny thing to say, but it's wildly true, right? So you can be given money that you never earned. So there's a different dynamic of success versus wealth, or success versus being rich, right? So money is one of those. Okay, well, we can count that, but that's not always the right measure. So let's see what I put together for you, and you tell me if we need to refine it or if we nailed it. Okay, so for Anthony, success equals seeing the possibilities, embracing room for consistent growth, leaving a legacy of happy customers, building a happy, high performing team, and embracing the never ending journey of constant improvement.
I think you nailed it.
Nailed it?
Yeah, and to your point earlier, I mean, of course, there's a financial aspect to it, but I agree with you. It's kind of the lesser part. Um,
Right.
you
Right.
know, you're treating customers right. You're doing a good job. You, golden rule, like show up when you say you're going to show. You just do
That's
the things you
right.
say. The
Yeah.
money will follow.
Exactly
That's
right.
yeah. But leaving a legacy behind, building something bigger than yourself, giving people opportunity that might not have the opportunity, elsewhere, or
Yeah.
just being that platform for people. I think that's where it really success really is.
Yeah. I mean, I have done an exercise so many times with people of consider the ripple effect that you, as a business owner, running a business that allows that platform, right, for other people to expand their talents, to experience success. And I'll never forget the day I had a client call me and they said, "Oh my gosh," they were practically in tears. And he said to me, "Madeline, one of my guys came to me today and told me that he is the first person in his entire family to have ever purchased his own home. And he did it because of his years of work with us." And this owner was struggling in his business. He wasn't at the top of his game. He was struggling. And he said, "I needed that today because I need to be reminded that my impact is greater and I need to double back and I need to put in the effort to get out of the slump I'm in now and to really double down on what I need to do to improve the efficiency and the profitability of my business. Because if I go out of business, if I don't run a good business, then this guy who just had this incredible opportunity won't be able to have it, right?" So I think that ripple effect, like drop the little stone in the pond and all the ripple effect that we can have as business owners, especially local business owners impacting a local economy, is so profound. And it's not just to do with the money. It's to do with the allowing people, you use the word platform, to make something of themselves, to become more than what they imagined initially. And gosh, there are very few things in life that can give you that level of satisfaction. I think it's one of the greatest gifts of business ownership is being able to create that sort of ripple effect in your community and in the world around you. Yeah,
Yeah,
really
I agree.
special.
It's an amazing gift. It's a big responsibility too. So
That's
you
right.
know, you gotta take it
That's
serious and love your people, I think.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Love your people. You gotta care about your people enough that your sacrifices are worth it, right? So that they're worth it because you're in service of others, and there's something really gorgeous about that dynamic. So, well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us and for sharing these little nuggets of wisdom. It's been so fun to have you on the show, and what a cool journey, right? From just gonna make it work, earn a living for my brand new family, young, work for someone else, start your own business, morph into a franchise, invest in a franchise, and then take it to a whole nother level. So what a beautiful journey. Congratulations on everything that you've accomplished and the good work that you're doing in this world. It's a beautiful thing.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. If people want to learn more about your business or more about you, where can they find you?
5starpainting.com. You can go on there, plug in your zip code,
There you go.
especially if you're local, because we are a franchise, so we're nationwide.
Yep.
But yeah, www.5starpainting.com, and plug in your zip code. If you're in my area, you'll get right to me, and I'd love to have a conversation.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much. And for those of you listening at home, don't forget that you can create an opportunity to be in the right place at the right time by being persistent, by having your heart set in the right place, by knowing those best practices and executing every day. And do not underestimate the good that you as a business owner can do in your community, in your world, by doing exactly those things and creating the opportunities for the people in your team who you need to love. So take this to heart. Consider, where can you pour more love on your people? Where can you set yourself up for being successful? And take that to heart, and we will catch you on the next episode. Bye for now.
Right.
That's it for today's episode of the Bold Enough podcast. If you found this conversation valuable, make sure that you follow the show and don't miss what's next. We're going to keep having conversations about success that people usually avoid. I'm Madeleine McCray. Thanks for joining me.